All right, here we go with the first couple of things to work on. And if you haven't done so, please make sure to watch that video on how to practice your guitar lessons. Very, very important stuff. So if I forget to send a link to it, I think I may have already sent it, but just in case I haven't, there is a link to that video in my email signature. But I'm going to try and remember to post that in the main message I'm going to send with this stuff. And I can't remember if you have Guitar Pro. I think you do, because you said you're on Patreon, so you must be following all that stuff. So I'm going to send over the Guitar Pro files. And so let's see, like with this stuff here. So one of the things I heard in the video that you sent was some of the counting, or like the rhythmic spacing was off on some of these weird cymbals. So I want to focus on getting that solid to make sure that you understand how to count these things and play it. The other thing I noticed is, now I don't know if you were trying to just play two strings, or maybe you were trying to bar two strings with your ring finger. Maybe it's the pinky. It's been too long, I can't remember. But I noticed you were holding just two fingers down for the power chords. Now, there's a lot of stuff where it absolutely makes sense to just use two fingers. Like if I'm doing some stuff like that, you know, really fast black metal or death metal stuff. That kind of stuff. Yeah, two strings makes a lot of sense. But I like using three strings for a lot of things. It does give a nice full sound. Also just gets extra finger work done at the same time. So I want you to use more than just two fingers. So on chords like the F5 and G5, A5, I want you to hold your hand like this. Now some people, they try and bar, and I know one guy, actually a friend of mine, he actually does quite well with this, and he just never has any issues. Some people might use their pinky to bar it. The problem is, usually when people do this, they end up barring and get a fourth string involved, like down here as well. Create major chords instead of just the power chord. So using three fingers like this, you get more control over what you're playing, and we really want to have control over everything that we do. This way, we got a better chance of creating the sounds that we want. So, big important thing this week, get used to using three fingers on these power chords. Now for like this open E5 chord, I typically just do it like this. So if you bar with just your index finger like this, you got to be careful to make sure that you don't put so much pressure that you get this. So with this kind of bar, you can change like, you know, how your wrist is positioned to change the pressure on what strings you're playing or not playing, really. So you're going to be touching the G, the B, and the E or high E string, which is a good thing because you want to keep those muted. You just got to be careful how much pressure you use. Some people will use like two fingers for this. Some people might use these two fingers. Either way, so long as you do this or playing that chord, just if you use the bar, make sure that you're not hearing that G string ring out at all. Just want to be careful with that. If you bar with the open A for E5, the next one will have an A5 chord that's open. Or did I do that one? I think I considered doing it. Yeah, we're not doing the open A5. Never mind. When we do an open A5, I'll end up doing it like this. But anyway, so yeah, the non-open power chords, three fingers. If you do use a bar for the open E5, be careful to not get the G string ringing out. You still want to hear three strings. So it just makes things sound much bigger, fuller, beefier. All right. So when you're playing this, I want you to count all 4 beats of the bar. So just a quick thing here, just in case you don't know. The time signature, 4/4. So the top number can be anything. The top number tells you how many beats are in the bar. So it could be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 1082. I don't think Guitar Pro would let you put that in there. But yeah, it can be any number on top. Doesn't matter. Because all the number on top tells you is how many beats are in the bar. Or measure. It's the same thing. The bottom number tells you the value of the beat. So the 4 on the bottom is for quarter notes. So you can have a 1 on the bottom for a whole note, 2 on the bottom for a half note, in this case 4 on the bottom for a quarter note. And then you can also have an 8 on the bottom for 8th note, 16 on the bottom for 16th note. So this is saying you have 4 beats that fill up the bar. Each beat is a quarter note. So I want you to count out 1, 2, 3, 4 while you're playing it. I want you tapping your foot along with the metronome while you're playing. And from 60 to at least 120, you're going to count out loud. Really, really good, solid habit to build. It's going to make things so much easier getting in this habit. You're going to understand things faster, understand things better. When you learn things, it's going to really speed up the process. And just understanding your own music, being able to count and understand different rhythms, tremendous time saver. And yeah, again, if you haven't done so, make sure to watch that video on how to practice your lessons. It's going to talk about exactly what to do, like good in-depth detail, something you can go back and watch over and over and over again if you have any questions about what to do. And it's basically the overall principles of this stuff, okay? So what we're going to be doing is starting at 60. We're going to play through this, no repeats. So it does talk about this at the top of the page. So yeah, it says, and it talks about these things in that video I just mentioned. So basically, without the repeats, going to spend up 15 minutes working this up as fast as you can, making sure you stay accurate, because if it's not accurate, it doesn't count. And once you reach 15 minutes, then you're going to add in the repeats. And so what I used to have people do is I'd have them play through the repeats like twice, then 3 times, and then 4. We don't do that now, and you can if you'd like. Now we just go straight into the 4 times. We just go straight into the 4 repetitions. Then it also says, yes, like, yeah, once you reach the 15 minutes, add in the repeats, and then decrease the metronome speed if you're unable to add in those repeats. So my thing is, like, you try it 3 times, and after 3 really solid attempts, it's not working, yeah, drop it 10, try again. And you just keep doing that until you can get all 4 repetitions. Try not to spend more than 20 minutes on this one, because you're going to spend like 15 to 20 minutes on this, 15 to 20 minutes on the other one. So we want to even them out for both things. And then if you feel like you maxed out in less than 15 minutes time, so let's say after like 10 minutes, you're like, there's no way I'm getting any faster, then drop the metronome about 10 or 20 beats per minute, start adding in the repeats there. Because let's say you get up to something like 260 in under 15 minutes, and like 260 was a real struggle. There's no way you're going to get 4 repetitions of a speed you struggled to play once. So that's why we just drop it down right there. So same thing as like with a 1 rep max in the gym. A 1 rep max is called that because you can only get through it once. There's no way you're going to do 4 of it. So same thing with like this guitar playing stuff. Your 1 rep max speed, well, you're not going to play it 4 times through. If you could play it 4 times through, then you did not do a 1 rep max. Simple as that. And we don't have to max out every single time. Basically, like if you max out in less than 15, okay, add in the repeats. Then you don't need to keep going. So in other words, you don't go the full 15 minutes just to go the full 15 minutes. 15 minutes is like the cap to make sure you're not overdoing it and you get a good amount of both things. And then once you have, let's say again, like you maxed out in like 10, 12 minutes or whatever, and you start adding the repeats, like once you can play all the repeats, then you're done. You've done what you need to for the day, and you move on. You don't have to spend 20 full minutes on this. If you get the work done in less time, then fantastic. Basically, you just get in, get it done, and move on to the next thing. That being said, if you do reach 240 before next week, make a video of it early. Send it on over, because if you're playing this, this one and number 2 at 240, I don't think you need to keep pushing the speed further with these two things. Like if you can do these eighth note, well, this isn't eighth notes. The next one's eighth notes. If you can do that stuff at 240, you're solid. You don't need to keep going. We'll move on to the next thing. But speaking of which, about recording yourself. So what I want you to do when it comes time to submit stuff, I want you to record the entire final practice session. If you need to split it up into multiple videos, that's fine. What a lot of people do is they'll record everything for number 1, and then they'll record everything for number 2. In fact, doing that's quite helpful because then I know, like, all right, here's everything for number 1, here's everything for number 2. So yeah, the entire practice session. This way I can get a good sense of how things are going. So basically what I do with those videos is I look at the beginning, make sure that you're playing solid at the slow speed and you're counting out loud and all that. And then I like jump ahead to the middle and then see, is everything sounding okay here still? And then I jump to the end, you know, where like things are going fast, and just kind of make sure, is everything sounding and looking okay? If things are not sounding good near the end or in the middle or whatever, then I'll watch even more, and so I can find out, okay, where is the breakdown? Where do things start to go wrong? So yeah, it's just best to record the whole thing to make sure we have enough information to do the best evaluation possible. But I do want you to record the repeats too. This way I know for sure you understand how to do the repeats, because every now and then people, they just don't understand exactly how to do it. And I want to make sure you understand how to do everything we're trying to do. So record the entire final practice session and send that over by the turn-in time, which is the 12 p.m. Pacific Standard Time on Thursdays. Okay. That being said, what I'm going to do is demonstrate this at some different tempos so you can hear and see how everything goes. So I want you to follow the whole metronome method. You're going to work it up in 5 BPM increments, just like it talks about in that video on how to practice your lessons. You play this thing, what we're going to do here, no repeats when you're working it up. Play it once correctly, and then bump it up 5. And it's got to be something that you're like, yes, that was good. I like the way that sounds. It's got to be accurate. And then for the last chord here, it is a whole note, but for the sake of practice, we don't need to let this thing ring out all 4 beats. Just hit it, move on to the next speed. Just easier to fill the thing out like that. So we got to fill the bar up with something. Might as well be a whole note. So here we go. Count of 4. I'm going to start. Tap your foot. Count out loud. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Done. So let's talk about, whoops, the wrong window selected. Let's talk about these symbols here. So yeah, that's your quarter note. I think you already know what some of this stuff is based on how you played. So yeah, that's your quarter note right there. So basically the black dot plus the stick, which is actually a stem. I don't know why it's called a stem, but it is. But yeah, that's your quarter note right there. And we're not too worried about what the note names are in the standard notation. Our concern is the tab, of course, because it tells us where to put our hands. Then we want to know how long everything rings out. So yeah, that's your quarter note. And then here is a dotted half note. So a half note is actually this guy right here, which gets 2 beats long. So that's the length of 2 quarter notes. It rings out across 2 beats. So a dotted half note rings out 3 beats long. So when you dot something, you extend the length of it by half. So half of a half note is a quarter note. So a dotted half note is the length of 2 quarter notes plus a quarter note. So 3 quarter notes long, 3 beats long. So basically, you strum here on beat number 1 and beat number 2. You strum again on beat number 1. That rings out across 3 beats. This is strummed on beat number 4. This stuff, that's a tie. So this chord is tied across the bar line, so this rings out for 2 beats. So that's the length of a half note. But we can't make this a half note because we don't have enough room in the bar. So if we made this a half note, if that were to fit, this would need to be a 5/4 time signature. But it's a 4/4, so that's got to spill over into the new bar. So yeah, it's a tie. This is tied across the bar line. And then we got 3 quarter notes in a row here, so that's played on beats 2, 3, and 4. And then here, play on beat number 1, then beat number 4. This is played on beat number 3, beat number 2, and then beat number 1. So let's do that again. 60 beats per minute. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, done. All right, 120. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, done. As things get going faster, instead of tapping every single time, I might click or tap my foot on just the 1 and the 3, or I'll alternate how I'm tapping. I'll do right, left, right, left, right, left. So like nodding your head, that's a good thing to do as well. Sometimes that's a little easier than tapping your foot every single click. So here we go. 180, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 240. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 4, 1, 2. Ooh, goodness. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. 2, 4, 1, 2, 4, 1, 2, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 4, 1. All right, let's go back down to 180 to demonstrate the repeats. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 4, 1, 2, 1, 2, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 4, 1, 2. Mistake. I make those sometimes. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 4, 1, 2. Another mistake. All right, if I don't get it on this take, I'm going to drop it down and try again. And I will leave mistakes like this in these lessons and whatnot that I do. This way you guys can see, like, some of this stuff is a struggle. And it's meant to be a bit of a struggle. So if I'm making mistakes, hopefully that makes you feel better if you're making mistakes, because this is part of the process. Especially when you don't practice these things. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. Alright, number 2. So same stuff about working this up without the repeats for up to 10 or up to 15 minutes. And then adding in the repeats after that and all that good stuff. So here, I'm going to work on some syncopation, a fancy word for just offbeat things, playing stuff that might feel a bit weird. So the rhythm is written out 2 different ways. And first way, basically how you saw it in the skill evaluation thing. So we got your quarter note here, 2 eighth notes. This eighth note is tied to that eighth note. Got another eighth note, and then quarter note. So we got this stuff here to show that is what a typical standard eighth note count is. So that would be 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So what I want you to do is, even at slow speeds, you're going to lock in to that 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and while you're strumming. So just a down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up. So when that metronome clicks, you're doing a down strum. And you just have that up strum in between. So whether you're hitting the strings or not, you still keep moving your hand. This really helps get good, solid rhythm. Again, tapping your foot while you're playing. Again, eventually, once that metronome's clicking really fast, I'll tap on like every first and third beat instead of all 1, 2, 3, 4. But try and do as many, or tap your foot as many times as you can with that metronome click. Because locking into that is really, really important, really, really helpful. So basically, like when the foot goes down, the hand goes down. Foot comes up, the hand comes up. So everything's connected. Everything's connected. Let's see. Counting this. Yeah, when you count it from, again, 60 to at least 120, you want to do that out loud. Tremendously helpful thing to learn. One of the most important things I was taught is if you can't say it, you can't play it. So when you learn how to say these things, man, it saves a ton of time. Really simplifies things. Makes things so much easier to learn and understand. So yes, we're going to say the rhythm we are playing out loud from 60 to at least 120. So when we move on to 16th notes where we play 4 things a beat, that's going to be the same thing as counting 8th notes at 120. Same thing, meaning like things we say per second. So 120 beats per minute with 8th notes is the same speed really as like 16th notes at 60 beats per minute. So the same amount of stuff per click, or per second, I mean. Anyway, so again, this rhythm is the same as this. Just 2 different ways of looking at it. So here you got your quarter note, that's an 8th note, that's an 8th note. So that's an 8th note by itself, an 8th note not connected to another one. Here we have this 8th note tied to an 8th note, which is the same length as a quarter note. So 2 8th notes is the same length as 1 quarter note. And then 8th note, quarter note, quarter note. So counting this, again, we're using this to help. So that quarter note takes up 2 of these things here. So you're going to strum on the 1, and that rings out across the and here. So that comes in on the downbeat of 1. This comes in on the downbeat of 2. This is the upbeat of 2. And then here we can see this is tied to the downbeat of 3. So we don't play on the downbeat of 3. We're not going to say 3. But this is on the upbeat of 3. So we do play there. We do say that out loud. And then that's on the downbeat of 4. So let's demonstrate this. What I'm going to do is I'm going to count 4, then say what the rhythm is, and then start playing. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, and 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 4, done. 120. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, and 4, 1, 2, and 4, 1, 2, and 4, 1, and 4. Another thing, what I noticed when you were playing things is you put a lot of staccato in, basically like a lot of rest cymbals happening. So make sure when you're playing this, everything needs to keep ringing out. So what we don't want is this. We don't want this. Now, for your own stuff, that's totally fine. There's plenty of music out there that would require something like that. But I want you practicing this while having everything ring out. So we don't want this. One more time. Not like that. We want it like this. So let it continue to ring out. No staccato. All right, 180. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 4. 1, 2, and 240. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, repeats. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, I had an accidental extra strum in there. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. Alright, so yeah, send in the final practice session. If you do reach 240 early, let's put it this way. If you are about to attempt 240 on either one of these, start recording right away, because you might get it. And then just send it on over, I'll check it out. That's without the repeats. That's fine. I think that covers it all. As we continue with the lessons, I won't talk as much, but we had to, you know, cover a lot of basic stuff here on what we're doing and all. But yeah, any questions, let me know, and I will see you in your new videos.